I think at this point, pretty much anyone could tell us that Arknights Endfield is definitely one of the best gacha game ever made. But the problem is, it's kind of locked behind the factory. The graphics so good that for the first time in your life, you wanna be the raindrop on the snake girl's belly. The optimization is also buttery smooth, and the only thing that haters could criticize about the graphic is, I don't see why would people play this game aside from graphic. That is how impeccable their graphic is. Haters would look absolutely stupid for criticizing their graphic. The 1.2 and 1.4 story is like straight out of Christopher Nolan, but definitely not the recent one. It is an absolute cinema to go through all those stories, and perhaps the most satisfied boss fight I've ever had. The boss fight in 1.2 feels like you are a Dovahkiin, the Dragon Slayer, fighting this absolute crisis with the size of mountain. It was absolutely epic. In 1.4, I feels like I climb up to this Mount Olympia, defiling the will of the god, engraving the tales of my legend with the blood of this false god. I am the unstoppable, fear no god, cause I've been through this valley of contingency contract. Oh. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, but to be honest, everything feels like tutorial mode after experiencing the contingency contract. I think it definitely pushed a lot of people's skill to the next level. I think combat in the Endfield is definitely one of the most underrated thing, because they don't have the most flashy animation. But the fact that you gotta play around the mechanics than playing around the rotation makes it so much more dynamic than any other gacha game. And let's get back to the story. Yes, they do sandwich some of the more casual filler types of story in the 1.1 and 1.3. Those are not the best, but I think it's fine because it's kind of enjoyable for me. But the most atrocious one is definitely on the 1.0. It's like straight out of the Darman YouTube channel, like one of those Facebook mom story. I'm actually pretty glad with their story now. As long as their story is maintaining around the 1.1 and 1.3 quality, I'm satisfied. But none of the good graphic, good gameplay mechanics, and the good story writing would have matters to those who are not actually enjoying the factory mode. Or even worse, they got scared by the mode before they even tried the game. It doesn't matter how well the factory mode is designed, how fun it is, it will always feel like chore for the wrong audience. But god damn it, it is so freaking fun for me. I probably enjoy the factory mode than most of you who clicking into this video. I've talked about it in one of my factory video that this is the hardest factory mode we ever have. I came across this stream by a Japanese anime catgirls by Nemukopia-san. I think she's pretty interesting, so definitely check her out. She built the factory without any help and trying to figure out everything by herself, and it took her about 5 hours to get the first Pyrolite component.
よしよし待ってこれで一応今日の目標達成じゃない装備部品ができた
The overall production doesn't seem ideal at the end of the stream, but I'm glad that she seems to enjoy it throughout the stream. But most importantly, it gave me a grasp that how difficult the factory could be for a general player. And it's definitely overwhelming for those who doesn't enjoy these types of content. And I did think about maybe we should dumb it down a bit, but here's also the other side of spectrum. There are also people like me, across all the levels, enjoy the hell out of it, and they don't want this complexity getting taken away, because solving a complex problem in itself is an enjoyment for people like us. And with two sides of opinion like that, I've been thinking, what is the root cause of this whole issue about the factory? And this is not the problem that people just realized recently. People could tell the problem before the game even launched. Some called it as the filter, as if it's the good thing. Brax frame it in a better way, like this is not the game for everyone. And we all know that he's talking about the factory. Everybody could see it if you lock it behind the activities that they feels like chore. And when this chore is overwhelming, they're gonna eventually quit the game. And after I think through it, the main issue is the bar for a player to enjoy the game casually is simply too high. Why do they lock majority of their content behind one content behind the factory? Even with all the blueprints shared online, setting up in itself can also be tedious. And I do think I came out with a solution that could lower the bar for those who just want to enjoy the other aspects of the game casually, but also satisfy those who are really into the factory. They should come up with the other types of factory mode, and once you turn on this mode, everything in the existing factory gonna be disabled, and everything will be fully automatically produced. But you can only produce up to 50% of the amounts of build that you could generate it. So that way, casual player could craft the gear and get enough stock build for the decent gear to enjoy the other aspects of the game. And they can come back to the factory when they are ready to min-max the gear. The goal is to not make the general player feels like their account is totally bricked if they don't build the factory. The point is, you shouldn't have anything that is stopping player from having fun with the general content. And with this method, game dev can make the factory as complicated as they want, while not making the casual player feels overwhelmed by the mechanics of the factory. I think this is a pretty good solution for the player from the both side of spectrum. And I do dislike the idea of having factory as part of the main game. It was never a good idea to have like two main game in a game. I think you are absolutely crazy and out of your mind if you take factory as some kinds of test for the real gamers to filter out the fake gamers. Even though I think Endfield did a fantastic job on this second main game, because I really do have the most fun out of it. I even came out with like one of the best factory on YouTube. And the takeaway of this video is they should really came out with the solution that's gonna reduce the friction for those who doesn't enjoy the factory, so that they can enjoy all the good stuff behind the factory. Anyway, let me know what you think about this factory patch. Don't forget to like and sub, and see ya guys.